everyone. Thank you guys so much, and welcome to One Global Movement Speak with Heart, where we speak from the heart for our children, women, and young people worldwide. I highly appreciate each and every one of you for really taking the time to invest in this population as well. Why? Because we know what is going on because we are mothers and we are fathers here, and we live among people. We have families, and we know what is going on among this population around the world. And so, coming together, it's a very important thing that I take so dear to my heart, and I don't take it lightly at all. So, thank you, Esther, for stopping by. You're still driving home, and thanks to our beautiful sister Melanie and Sister Yvonne. It's Harvest Thanksgiving in Canada. Please, let's wish our brothers and sisters in Canada Harvest Thanksgiving. And I know Melanie is sharing some chicken with us on the show today. But thank you for really taking the time to come. You could have been enjoying too with your family. So thank you so much. So we're going to I will have to leave a little early, guys. Excuse me for that, because I have an appointment here and I have to respect it. So we're going to take the most 25 minutes to 30, the most on here, so that I can continue with what I am doing here for One Global Movement. So thank you so much. So we are in One Global Movement Revolution part 376. OGM Harvest Series 5, and literacy in the fields. Literacy, that means education in the fields, education in the garden. And I particularly chose this because my vision of education is right where the garden is. Educating children in the garden. First of all, the garden is where you have nature. The children will be studying, bonding with nature. The trees are there, the plants are there. This is nature, and they will understand well. And Sister Yvonne did some research and sent some videos to me of how this is really trending, where people are building not just like the kind of schools that we have, but if you are and I volunteer with one company here in Minnesota where the education is right there on the farm, right there with the grass and everything. And some people might think, oh, this is dirty. That is healing. Okay? It depends on what you're getting out of it. So that is the dream here. That's why I coined this literacy in the fields. And now we are focusing on combating literacy through storytelling, action, and record keeping in agriculture and gardening. That's our focus here, because we need to bring this to life. If you look around the world, gardening and agriculture is trending, because that is anything in this life without talking about agriculture, gardening, sowing seeds of prosperity. It starts with the soil. It started with the soil. It's going to be with the soil, and it's going to end with the soil. This is very, very important. And therefore, we have to educate our children. Get a piece of land. When you get a piece of land and you know what to do with it, you are already a rich person, because the value is going to go, or we must teach our children. That is generational wealth building. And so, and the message here is a farmer's field can be a classroom. A farmer's field can be a classroom, and a book can be a garden for the mind. All right. So now the action that we want to really see it happen or tie in is having reading corners in gardens or harvest markets. We talked about this before in a different type, where Sister Melanie talked about boots for seeds, and that's education. Yes. And so when you have your garden, put a corner, just like you have a stool, just like in your home, having a physical library, and anything that you are doing, whether at your job or where, be sure that you advocate for that company to have a library right there for everyone, for children, anybody. Very, very important. Let us not just depend on digital library. We have to do both, because we've been blessed with both. So this is very, very important. So literacy in the field It's what we are trying to look at today, and focusing on combating literacy through storytelling and otherwise. So now, ladies and gentlemen, and my volunteers, my brothers and sisters, especially you guys who are always helping here, the visionaries, the educators, we all are educators. We all are visionary. We are farmers. We are women, young leaders of the world, children. Today, we invite you here in One Global Movement to imagine something simple yet so profound that people don't talk about. A farmer standing in a field holding not just a hoe or a machete or a tiller, but also a book. Holding a book right in the middle of that field, that cornfield, that flower field, or whatever, because the field and the page are not so different. The field and the pages of a book are not different. Because when you feed a child, what next can we do? We educate that child. We educate that young person. We educate our fellow brothers and sisters. We educate ourselves right here. And that's what we are doing here on One Global Movement. So both the field and the book require care, right? It requires care. Both require patience, and both hold the power to feed. One feeds the body, the other feeds the mind, and both of them feed the soul, the entire body. Our theme today, literacy in the field, is more than an idea. It is not just an idea, it is a movement of awakening, where agriculture, gardening becomes a classroom, and storytelling becomes a tool of transformation. I can remember my grandmother's storytelling around the fireplace in the evening, how she planted pineapples in tens, in rows of tens, everything in tens, because, like we say, 7 is God's number, which is true. But the scripture also says, add one more to make it 8. Because why? You got to share. You got to replace some that did not do so well, and all of those good things. At One Global Movement, we believe that eradicating hunger, poverty, and literacy begins where life begins, in the soil. That is where life began, right? And that soil, rich with sweat and stories of farmers, is waiting to be read, written, and remembered. And these are all things to encourage all of us, because the world taught people that, oh, people who do gardening or farming are poor people. That's not true. They fooled us. Those are the most wealthiest people in the world, and those are the change makers and the humanitarians, because without that food in the field from the farmer, you and I cannot do anything. And so a farmer's field can be a classroom, and a book can be a garden for the mind. And so the power of storytelling in the soil is very, very important. Before there were schools, imagine this. Before there was school, go back to the early man that lives in the caves. We all come from generations that lived in the caves before. Whether we accept it or not, some people think they are civilized, more civilized than the others. That's not true. We all started from somewhere. So before there were schools, there were stories. Before there were libraries, there were firesides. Remember, Melanie, firesides, right? And around them, farmers, mothers, grandparents, our elders, the chiefs and chindas and the leaders shared lessons of the earth. They even told the time looking at the moon, when the moon rises in the morning and where it sets, and the wind, the direction of the wind. That's how they can tell everything by using nature, because we were born with that capability and that capacity to do those things. So storytelling was textbook. That was a textbook, because when you have it here, like my grandmother said, put it here, so that when they tear your writings, you will have it here, and then you will pass it on to your next generation. So oral history was their literacy, and oral history is still there. But as the world raised toward modern education, many of these voices were left behind. We forgot about them, and it shouldn't be. So we want to pick up, bring them back, because that is where it started, and that is the most solid foundation. And then meet with technology, they can do amazing things. So today, literacy in the fields calls us to return, not backward, but deeper, deeper to your roots, to, rediscover the power of story as the bridge between the written and the spoken. You cannot write something that you cannot speak about it. The tradition and the modern, these things have to come together in a balance, so that children, young people, women, and all of us here can do well in everything that we do, whether in the field, in the modern classroom, whether on the show here, wherever it is. So a farmer story is not just about crops. It is about culture, courage, and continuity. To read the land is to read life itself. You have to read the land. You walk on the land. You walk on the soil. You dig. There are minerals in the soil, precious minerals. Everything has to do with the soil. That's why we need to respect the soil. We do not pollute it. We do not. Poison it, and we do not bomb it. We do not do all of those things that will hurt the soil, because that is where it began. So through storytelling circles at harvest time, through shared readings under the mango tree, we revive not just literacy but legacy. We revive legacy. I can remember, I love when my grandma starts telling us those stories around a huge fire. We are roasting corn, we are roasting peanuts, the plums are there, the plantains. We are roasting, and that's the best way to eat. And I would just sit like this. I don't. I would pour the food. I would just, and then my grandma would say, "Eat while you listen." So you don't miss out on the peanuts. And I would just be, I don't want her to stop. I said, Grandma, continue, please. Grandma, continue. So that is the first class education. And so a farmer's field is a classroom. Now imagine this with me, please. Just imagine this with me. A classroom without walls. A classroom without walls. The background is the beautiful sky. Like you admire the sky, right? It's the beautiful sky. The lesson plan is the rhythm of the rain. Like I'm talking here in almost in a forest, because I had to leave from where I have my appointment to come somewhere. I can see the beautiful sky because my windows are down. Just imagine that. And then imagine the lesson is the rhythm of the rain. Do you know that rain is it's therapeutic? I sleep when it rains and it falls on the corrugated iron sheet. I will sleep like a baby, like I don't want to wake up, because that is nature working on us. And the textbooks are rows of maize, cassava, those rows of maize, rows of cassava, rows of plantains, rows of sour salt, rows of tomatoes. Those are the pages and the textbooks. Have you ever thought about that? Or you just look at the field, you say, oh, you just admire the farmer. You stop. Or you even see this farmer to say, oh, thank you so much for these textbooks that you have written through planting in the soil. Have you thought about that? So this is what we mean when we say a farmer's field can be a classroom. Do you get it now? Do we get it? This is so simple and so profound, yet we ache our head trying to look for things out there, when we've already been given those things. So here we can teach reading through labeling crops. This is Roma tomato roll. This is a big boy tomato roll. This is a tree tomato. We have 3 tomatoes in Cameroon. When you put it in your porridge potatoes or plantain, it's like the kiss of heaven, So, and a farmer's field can be a classroom. That's what we mean. And here we can teach reading through labeling crops, writing harvest notes. Like we take notes when we do the One Global Movement garden. What did we plan? How did it do well? What did we do that it made it to do well? Did we use chemicals for fertilizers, or did we use chicken poop, or did we use grass only? Which one is better and why? So we do that so that we can teach our families, our children, and our population in the world. So this can teach numeracy. When you do that, it's teaching mathematics, arithmetic, numeracy by counting seeds, measuring rainfall, and calculating fields. The farmer is one of the most intelligent people in the world, and they deserve our respect. So we can teach environmental literacy by studying the life of every plant and insect that shares our soil. Remember the pollinators that we treated last year? The pollinator insect, be nice to those insects. Don't just kill them anyhow because they are there for a reason. This is not just about reading letters, it is about reading life. When you do that, you're reading life because all of these things are done for life. At One Global Movement, we see literacy as a living practice, not confined to a building, but breathe into daily work. When I'm on the field in the One Global Movement garden, come and see me. That's why you see some of the videos I post. The animal, they know me now because I'm nice to them. When I plant the crops, I fence it. And then I also plant some outside of the garden so that they can come there and also share, because they are also helping to contribute to the fertility and seed disposal of the environment. That is very, very important, because when a child learns to read from the land, they grow up understanding the value of life itself. We don't just do all these so-called modernism with steels and metals for them to read from. No, when they read from soil, they know that they are studying life and appreciating life in itself. So a field without literacy is a farm without future. But when knowledge grows alongside crops, nations prosper. Don't you agree that? So when literacy takes root in rural soil, it produces more than crops. It produces confidence, it produces creativity, and it produces global communities and villages. And so, but let us be very honest. Illiteracy has left many farmers unseen and unread because we ignore them, right? Because we think that they didn't go to school to sit in a classroom and get that paper that can be torn, a paper that a lot of people don't put value, they don't put truth and honesty into it, they don't respect a human, they don't have dignity. We think that that is the best. No, you have that paper, look to the soil, and therefore look to the farmer and also respect the farmer. So without records, the achievement vanish with the season. So we are here and encouraging ourselves and our children, our young people, to take records of what the farmers do. Go to the farm, go and do your field work, go and do your practicals and say, I am going to go to the field, I'm going to volunteer to help the farmer. I am going to take records of what the farmer is doing so that you can help that farmer publish the work that he is doing so that other people can read it. Don't just sit there and go, oh, it's dirty, it's this. No, no, if you do that, you are disrespecting the farmer. So without numbers, the farmers' labor is undervalued. Without literacy, their voices are lost in the marketplace. That must end. One Global Movement says this must end, and it will end with empowerment through record keeping. We encourage all our young people to volunteer in fields. You will realize that you'll be changing something that people have been taught otherwise. You'll be changing something. Take the time, put on your good boots, your farm boots, go and say, go to the farmer and say, I would like to take record keeping. I would like to volunteer here to help you with what you're doing to get into the world so that you're not just only helping to feed lives and souls, but therefore you're also helping to teach other people. I bet you that farmer will be happy. For instance, the father that donated the 1 acre for One Global Movement, I realize that that father carries a lot here. He's been doing farming throughout his life. He's 85 now. I told him I would like to write a book and put chapters there to dedicate it to you because he has so much natural knowledge that comes from the soil. And that's what I'm going to do. But he is forgotten. Nobody cares about him. And we need to bring those people to the surface. We can't just be talking about Hollywood, talking about the celebrities, talking about because the world wants us to focus our eyes, our cameras on there, forgetting about the real celebrities of the world that are tilling the field. And those are the celebrities. So when a farmer writes down the number of seeds planted, the date of rainfall, and the weight of their harvest, they are not just keeping track. They are keeping history. They are creating proof of progress. So, ladies and gentlemen, when a farmer learns to write their harvest, they begin to rewrite their destiny and therefore leaving behind a legacy that would last more than 1,000,000 years to come. But they cannot do it alone unless you and I, or we encourage our children, we teach them, and we try to reverse all the lies and the things that have been told throughout the ages so that our kids can be in a better place and continue to empower the next generation when we are long gone. I'll leave my sister to contribute so that we can get out of here.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Yvonne, because I too have an appointment. I'm watching the
Thank
screen
you. Yeah.
in half an hour as well.
Yes.
I can't miss that one. Yeah, so my phone was almost ready to topple over. Yeah,
Mhm.
so good afternoon, Sister Yvonne and Esther. I know she's there, but she's back.
Yeah.
Anyhow, at the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly speaking, agriculture is something that should be even part, like, part of the classroom.
Mhm.
We're growing up in the Caribbean, and then we learned to have school garden. We had school garden competition,
Mhm.
different, and we were really competing, like the flower beds, the vegetables, the pumpkins. It was nice. And then we would have the teachers pass and judge, and there was a special man from the ministry, two of them. They
Mhm.
would come by and they would judge, and then we'd win prizes. That
Mhm.
would encourage us because one wants to see their garden, and the gardens looked so beautiful. So I think one of the things that when you said teaching them not just online in class or whatever, but be a class on the outside in the garden itself,
Mhm.
because that is what will encourage young people to realize that what I'm putting inside of me, I don't know where it's coming from, but when I do mine, I know where I am
Yes.
reaping it from or harvesting it from to go into my system.
Yep.
So I truly believe that we can together collaborate, and around the world, we can speak for others around the world too. We are not there, but we can exchange communication. And,
Yes.
school gardening would be something we could implement. We could ask the government to implement, because
Mhm.
there's lots of land that are being kept and they are not looked after. So what is it sitting there for? It's to be utilized, and we
Yep.
should be able to advocate for that. So
Yes.
yes, bringing the children onto the school garden system, sitting there with them, reading a book and showing them the plants, as you said, and teaching them, educating them about what that plant does for bodies or system, because the kids only know online and their cell phones and all. But going deeper, these are the real roots of life. We're not saying they're going to have their hands in the soil all the time, but I'm sure the kids would have loved to see them plant a nice little plant and see it blooming. They
Yep.
would.
Why not?
Yeah. So,
Have you
yeah,
seen how I'm doing these things? I'm so happy and I thank God for the way my mother, my grandmother, and my village raised me and educated
same,
me.
same here.
And yes, same day. Yeah, I know for sure you. And uh my son, I seek to send because that's what we should do as parents, especially mothers, seek the best school for your child. So I sent my son to school. They went to farms. Come and see these children. They don't want to leave the farm. I made sure he went on excursion trips and field trips and mission trips. They go to the farm, to the field. And now what he does, he plants from little. He plants flowers. He plants his own things, and he's always say, "Mommy, I'm gonna grow up to become you because I've always." That's our culture. You from
Yes.
the backyard to the kitchen, from the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
to the dining table. What's the dining table? Our fireplace is not like a dining table. Sometimes we chop down the tree and we make our own table from it, natural
Yes.
table. And or the bamboo trees or the Indian bamboo trees, natural, not those things that have been poisoned and all of those. Not to say that they're not good, but seek the best. Natural things are healing, they're inspirational. That's the way that we were created. And so my son went to all those places. Come and see these kids rubbing themselves in the mud. And do you realize that there is a bacteria in that mud that helps heal? Our
Yes.
bodies are built to self-heal if we born with nature. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, because some people say, oh, I come from a rich family, everything was giving me. What you're doing is you're making a fool of yourself. All right? If you did not do it, there is no time that you cannot learn how to do something. All right? Because it starts from there. Any foundation that you're building, if you go there and say, I want to start from there, if you don't start from this soil, you forget about it. It's never going to stand. And you're going to end up be frustrating. Not to say that you have to get into the field and do like the farmer. There are
Yeah.
different things you can do. You can be the person that is taking records of the farmers. You can be the person that is going to volunteer. You can be the person that can ask friends or do something to volunteer for the farmer. You can go and write a book about that farmer to then dedicate that book to that farmer for what they have been doing so that they can continue to help the world. That is the way that the world was meant to be. And therefore, you can plant your own flowers and smell them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to buy flowers. I said, let me also patronize these flower place. One flower like that, beautiful one, $40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can do everything. You don't have to have a field. Now with modernism combined with the soil and nature, you can do a lot. I just learned about the tower garden from you. I did not know. Now I went on a rampage. I researched and I said they will know me next year. That's how we keep learning and growing. When you plant a plant in your home, you've planted life in yourself and your family. You don't know it. It doesn't have to speak to you or speak about the dollars or francs or look at me here, I have this money. No. If you don't start from there, we're wasting our time. Otherwise, this little lowly me, who am I to still be alive today, considering my background? It is the soil taught by a grandmother in particular, and a mother and the community. And this is how those kind of kids, they will champion a lot of things in the world. I'm still working on myself, but that's how we work and keep working. And
Yeah.
Melanie comes from the same background. Esther, you come from that background. You might not have put your head in learning. Now is the time because you have children. We can all do those things. We learn from one another. There will come a time which we want global movement. We can go to Nigeria. We can go to Cameroon. We can go to the island. We can go to Canada. You guys can come to the USA. We stand there. We bring that transformation by coming together to do those things. That's why we are here. And I always say, mothers, we got to bring this transformation. The mothers are the glues of the families. Say, you know what? I did not have that opportunity to do this. Maybe because of one reason or the other, not to blame anybody, because there are a lot of things that make people not to do what they are doing. Some illness, some maybe, just maybe one thing or the other. So is the time now to come together to do it. Okay? Depend on the soil, and then we continue. You can be the one that is writing, the one that is calculating the number of corns. That's banking, that's arithmetic. That's mathematics. Then Melanie and I can be the one that will be going for the dirt and the chicken poop, whatever. These things are real. We can do
Yeah.
whatever. Nobody should fool you. Keep that degree that you have. It's a degree to learn from nature. Get back to the soil. So, Esther, if you want to say anything, sister, go ahead so that I can rush back. Okay, Esther? Okay,
She's
okay.
frozen.
She's frozen. That's okay.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an appointment, please. Excuse me for One Global Movement. And I just got out there to come to the forest site here so I can admire the sky because this is the best place to even talk about this. And so I'm right here all by myself. And so I'm going to go back to continue and let us continue to put our hands together for our children, our young people, and all of us that we come together. This thing is not for Mundih alone. It's not for Sister Melanie alone. It's not for Esther. It's not for Sister Yvonne. No, it's not for Mr. Barilla. It's for all of us because when we come together the way God created us, we will change the world for the best. And we are here. Just pray to live 150 years because I'm praying to live 150 years until I empty out myself into the universe because people empty out themselves for me. Otherwise, I will not be here today. And it's the same light. We can do this. And instead of waiting, do something. You can transform the world than waiting. We should never have to wait. No one knows tomorrow. I think about those that have passed away when unpassive was here, as they did call it. But where are they? Think about our recent leader. Where is he? If he didn't do what he did or came here on the show, he would have taken that knowledge to the grave. No one knows tomorrow. Let us do it now. Love yourself. When you love yourself, you love another person. Learn to forgive. Learn not to criticize. Learn to know that people make mistakes and learn to accept. Take the one good thing that somebody has done and capitalize on it and keep moving forward. So, Sister Melanie, give us the closing remarks and let me jump out of here. Thank you.
Okay. So we just have to it's about all about the young ones coming behind us. Educate them as much as we can, and celebrate their little progress, whether it's one little plant, or encourage them in going to tree planting, because we have tree planting as, I don't know if schools has it as a project, but I did it with my work and I used to take my son. We went about 3-4 times and he was happy to, they show them, we have t-shirts, that anyhow. But encourage them in those things. And apart from digital, the online and other things that most popular courses or programs people go into, there's the botanist. The botanist is one who takes pride in plant, and it's a beautiful. If I knew what I knew now, well, although I knew them, but I never really take it in hand, I would have done better.
Yes.
Regarding agriculture. But I'm doing my due diligence going forward because
You're
I
doing better
yeah,
now. You're still learning because you have the heart for that. You're still doing it, okay? This
yeah.
is the time. You didn't do it then because you're doing other things, but now you're doing it. I would say the same thing, but I say, you know what? Everything happens at that time for a reason because that is the foundation that we've built up to this point, and that is
That's
so beautiful. Yes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I thank each and every one of you. I will not go through the chat. Excuse us here because I need to get back to my appointment. And I thank you guys so much. And I'm praying and I wish each and every one of you a wonderful weekend. And let us meet here again next week and bring one, bring two. Make sure you're spreading the message. Keep doing it. If they don't listen today, they will listen tomorrow. Just keep doing it because we want every child, every young person, and every woman to be rich in the world. I love you guys. And until next week, bye-bye.
nice
Bye.
to see you on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you too.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care.